thank y'all for tuning in. And we have a great episode tonight because we got the whole crew here tonight. Oh, it's a part of the crew, but you know what I'm saying? But it's got a good episode. We got my boy Brian here tonight. We got Brittani here tonight. And then we got Miss Samantha Walker tonight, y'all. And we're going to talk about some great things. We're going to talk about being curvy, confident, and nervous. So, without further ado, Miss Samantha Walker.
Yeah, everything easy. It's interesting being in the hot seat tonight. I'm just so used to just asking everybody else's questions and just going off of their lead. But I guess I'm in the seat. And like I told you before, I'm an open book. Nothing is off limits. I do not have any limits. I want to be 100% transparent. So, with that being said, I open the floor.
You open the floor? Okay, let's get into it.
The doors of the church are open.
That's what I'm talking about. I got these tweets. I told her before the podcast, I got these tweets, you know what I'm saying? She wanted to clear up or whatnot. But no, as you guys know, I love the progression of people. Because you never start, but it's not how you start, but how you finish, right? So I like to start from the beginning. So you always were born and raised in Cleveland? Yes.
I was born and raised in Cleveland. I originally grew up under 105.
Oh, okay.
I'm a 10-5 girl, but everybody that knows me knows that I grew up in East Cleveland, went to Shaw High School, of course.
Oh, you went to Shaw? Okay.
I went to Shaw.
Were you in the marching band?
I was in a marching band.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. That's what's up. So you're a cardinal, huh?
Forever.
All right.
I'm a for lifer.
For lifer.
I ain't one of them fake ones. I wanted the real ones.
you would start from the bottom.
I'm from the original Shaw with Coram Lounge and the swimming pool. I don't know nothing about that new Shaw.
No,
It's levels to it. It's levels to it.
Yeah, no, I feel it. Okay. So you graduated from Shaw.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens after that? You go to college?
I graduated from Shaw. I went to the University of Akron. And then I ended up coming home, transferring my junior year, and graduated from Cleveland State with my BA, focused on communications.
Okay. Communications.
Yeah.
Communications. So help me, y'all graduates of communications. What all do y'all learn in communications that y'all are able to apply in everyday life?
For the first couple of years, I was like, absolutely nothing.
Hello?
Like, for real. And so I'm like, okay, I know how to talk to people. I know how to understand. But what did I just spend all these $1,000s on?
I want to know, because I'm like, maybe y'all make y'all more understanding when y'all communicate with other people, or makes it so y'all communication abilities are just top-notch.
We did not know. And I've been told my communication skills are terrible, let's just be honest. But my communication, I was multimedia. I was journalism.
Okay.
So I can interview people. I can talk in front of people. That had nothing to do with my communication outside of the professional.
I got you.
That's two totally different things in my communication style. But you talk about professionally, I got you. Personally, totally different.
I got you.
See, I did the interpersonal track, so
okay.
I'm very good with like conflict negotiation and things like that.
I mean, I passed those classes. But when it came down to it, any class I had where I had to do public speaking or even with like organizational communications, multimedia, like I flourished. I flourished in all those areas. Yeah.
Okay, so we got college, and then after college, where did the journey take you after that?
After college, first of all, I want everybody to know this and hear me well. I did not graduate on time. I failed one class at Akron that followed me all the way to Cleveland State. I walked the stage, parents there, I'm waving and cheesing, had the big party, and I'm like, life is coming. I get a letter in the mail from Cleveland State saying, you have not met the requirements to receive your degree.
Wow.
And I look back and it was like basic math. And I
That
said,
math, man.
That math,
man.
I said, that was 2006. I was already in remedial math. And you mean to tell me I couldn't pass remedial math? So I had to, strap on my big girls, boots, whatever else you want to think of. Yeah. And I had to tell my mom, like, look, I'm glad we had the party and stuff, but I didn't finish. So that was devastating because I'm a first generation graduate in my family. So it was like the weight of that, like you can't fail because your nieces and nephews are watching you. Your parents are rooting for you. Your siblings are rooting for you. You can't fail. So when that happened, I was just like, one class? So I went back, took the summer class. When I tell you that professor gave me a C, and I was like, thank you, goodbye. So I finished in 5 years, but I did finish. So
yeah, I'm about to say you did finish.
I did, by the skin of my teeth.
Listen, I'll never forget, my brother told me some real stuff. He said, it don't matter how many times you take that test, no client ever gonna ask you how many times you take the test. As long as you pass, they care.
Yeah. There was no questions involved.
There we go.
It was, give me my paper, please. I don't have no more money.
I'm gonna tell my inner Brian right now. You know what I'm saying? And Brian is very introspective with his question. So, with that being said, how did the weight of that? Not saying, or I'll say maybe pressure. The pressure of having to finish it out, because like I said, you had your parents telling you gotta finish this because you gotta be that example to be in front of your niece and nephew. How did that weigh heavy on you?
Man, it stressed me out so much because you know I went to Akron first and I partied. I enjoy myself because if you think about it, if I'm at home and I'm the only one that is like achieving these accolades, there's a lot of pressure. No, when you get home from band practice, you study, you do your homework, you do this, you do that, and I'm just like, I felt suffocated by my mom because I'm just like, I can't go anywhere without my mother being there. That was my biggest thing. And so when I finally got away from home, I lost my mind.
Oh wow!
I lost my mind, and.
Anybody else resonate with that?
Of course. I mean, I was just like, freedom.
Yeah.
Nobody calling me every 5 minutes to see where I'm at, who I'm with. I was like, oh. So for that time, I was able to kind of let some of that pressure subside. I was like, I can breathe a little bit.
Yeah.
I was taking too many breaths though, because that academic probation letter went to the house in Cleveland, not to me. So, you know, once I think I got that, and I said, oh, this is real. Like I can't afford to let myself down at this point. So I was like, I gotta finish. So it was a lot of pressure, but it was like I needed that bump on the head. Yeah. Because at Shaw, you know, I'm in honors classes. I'm smart. I'm always, you know, teachers' favorites. Yeah. I'm involved in everything. Yeah. So it was like going from that to going somewhere where I can't even pass a basic math class. Like that humbled me. Real quick.
I asked that too.
Real quick. So yeah, stay in school, kids. Don't party too much.
In moderation.
Moderation, please.
I got two things for you.
Okay.
One, I love your hair. I love that. That's very nice. I love that haircut. Thank you. Oh, you're welcome. And two, like, what was the biggest lesson you learned during your college experience? The biggest lesson.
Ooh. Besides, don't waste mommy's money. Because that was a big one. Like, my mom was a single parent. So, you know, I didn't stay on campus. I didn't have enough scholarship money. So, you know, my mom's co-signing my loans. My mom is paying my rent because I got into school too late to stay on campus. So my mom was coming out of pocket. And here I am out here, you know, partying. And it's like, you know, enjoy yourself, have fun, but also remember why you're there in the first place. Because had I kept the mindset of, okay, I got to finish, I got to do this, I probably wouldn't have gotten sidetracked as I did. So, don't waste mommy's money.
Was it a waste of time in your college? You think it was a waste of time?
Sometimes I do. Only because I feel like a lot of the knowledge I have, I didn't get it from school. I got it from everywhere else.
Real.
So in that respect, I feel like there may be another route I could have went. But as far as the experience of life, I needed that time. I needed that time, for sure.
I would say everyone I've ever met, the sad part about it, they don't learn the academic part of it all. They learn like the life experience part of it all. And I think that I mean, I did one semester, so I can relate. You know what I'm saying? I did the Kanye West route. I was kind of dropout, you know. And then I had my baby, and then life was life. Right. But okay, so we got college. So after college, what did life's journey take you on after that?
Life took me at a standstill. I was just stuck. I was like, okay, I went to school, I got this piece of paper, now what? Because, you know, in school, I'm like, oh, I want to be on the radio, I want to be a TV host, I want to host red carpet events. Like, this is stuff that I wanted to do. I wanted to do journalism and broadcasting. Did I take the time to do that stuff during school? Absolutely not, because I was too busy partying. So it's like, what do I do now? I don't know. Like, I literally had no idea. You know, I was one of those people who didn't take advantage of all the programs in school. You know, meeting with a career counselor, trying to figure it out. I was just, let me go to class so I can finish. That was it. It was just get in, let's get in, and let's get out. So after college, I'm back at home, and my mom was like, well, you got 2 or 3 part-time jobs, that's cool, but now you got a degree, you need to go get a job. And this was in 2012. So I'm like, where am I getting a job at? All right. So I took all these little part-time retail jobs, and one day the superintendent of my alma mater, my mother called her, because they were so close when I was younger. Because remember, my mother didn't let me do anything by myself. Every PTA, school, field trip, everything. She stayed involved way after I graduated. So she still had those relationships. She literally called the superintendent and said, hey, Sam finished. She's done. She need a job. I had an interview the Monday, and I had the job on Wednesday.
Talk about that pool.
My mama had all the pool. Anybody that knew her, she had the pool.
Shout out to mama.
Shout out to mama. So, I was working in East Cleveland City Schools. I was working under a granted program that mentored kind of our disenfranchised population of students, the outcasts, the ones who don't come to school, the ones who are pregnant or parents, you know, foster kids. It was my job to pull them together and create workshops, take them on college tours, mentor them. So I did that for almost 10 years.
Wow.
Yep, and then life moved me forward. Still working with young people, still making an impact. I work at 10 different schools throughout Cuyahoga County. So I'm a busy lady.
Yeah.
You know, besides everything else that I do, like education. And this one thing I used to write in my journal when I was younger about all the things I wanted to do when I grew up. And I always said, I never want to be a teacher. I never want to work with kids. I don't like kids.
I'll be loud, but like...
No, it's a fact.
That's ironic, though.
It's very ironic because even as, you know, as young as me being in middle school, I was tutoring little kids. Just because I like being the leader and you're going to listen to me and this is how this goes. But then seeing what happens after that, after I taught you something and you go and you say, hey, you know, I got an A because you taught me how to do this. Like, I got something out of that and I said, well, let me keep going. And, you know, I am where I am now because I fell into it, but I think I fell into it for a reason. And, you know, I have kids now that are 21, 22. They come stay with me on Christmas break. You know, I call their kids my grandchildren. We spend our holidays together. So it really just brought so much purpose in my life that I didn't know I needed.
That's good.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you know what? I don't let her finish. That's going on, you know. But that's dope. I know it's funny because you know the not saying cliche, but it's like I think TD Jakes said the best. He said the two. No, I went TD Jakes. I played them on TD Jakes. Anything profound black. TD Jakes said that, right?
It's other profound people.
Yeah. In my mind, TD Jakes said that one time or another. But right, you too.
Hey, bro, anything, bro. I'm feeling flashback.
Right.
That's my dog.
TJ said one time or another,
Yeah,
right?
well, I'm gonna start saying Oprah Winfrey then every time
There you
something
go.
profound.
There you go. You gotta put that on them, whatnot. But he said, someone said that the two profoundest days, of course, that you are born, but then you find out the reason why you were born. You know what I'm saying?
TJ said that. He said
TJ.
I don't know, dog. I feel like that might have been Chris down the street.
It might have been.
I don't know.
I'm about to say, it might be my
I
daddy.
don't
But
know.
Chris down the
I
street
don't
might
know.
have got him too.
But the fact that you one, you had the gift, and God obviously, you know what I'm saying, overshadowed so that gift can be optimized. You know what I'm saying? Because now, like, wasted talent. You know what I'm saying?
I did not want to do it. Like,
You were fighting it.
I was like, I don't want to work with. No, I got 13 nieces and nephews.
You got 13 nieces and
I got 13 nieces and nephews.
Wow.
I think.
nephews.
Confirmed 13. So I was just like, well, I'm so used to being around this many kids and all these different things they have going on. I was kind of able to adapt at work. And they was like, how did you know how to listen? If you lived in my house, you gonna figure it out with all the kids.
No, I got you.
Because 5 of them lived with me until I was a senior in high school.
Oh, wow.
So yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we got to professional life. Let's move on to your lifestyle outside of your professional life. When we get into the blogging, when we get into the modeling, we get into the hosting. Let's get into that. What prompted that? All while you're obviously pursuing your professional career, when you started to say, okay, I want to pursue the things that I wrote down in this journal.
Yeah. So as a kid, I love the talent shows. Anytime that I get a chance to be in the spotlight, whether it's singing, dancing, acting.
Were you on what's that? Not American Got Talent. You were on American Idol. I could have swore I seen you on there, Sam. Say, was that you?
No.
No, okay.
I can't sing. But in school, I thought I could. I was in all the talent shows. I was in choir, dance, drama, everything. And I liked the feeling I got from it. Like, it was the only time that I really felt like people saw me. I felt seen. I felt like I was able to command people's attention. And it was just like, I wasn't a nerd. I was kind of like that person who was like kind of in between in school. Like, I knew I was a little bit offbeat, but I could never really like put my finger on it. I'm like, something about me and the other kids, something is just not the same, and I could never figure it out. But you know, I channeled that through all these creative things I did. So I actually started doing pageants. I was 4 when I did my first pageant. And it was in a calling post. I posted on my Instagram all the time just to give myself a reminder of like how far I've come and how long I really have been doing this. When people try to say, where'd you come from? I've been here.
So you've been doing this.
I've been here.
Been here. I got
so you talking about from 4 years old to now about to be 36. I might have taken a break for a couple of years.
Right.
But, you know, I did the pageants, and then, you know, I went to, it was called Southern Enterprise Modeling. A coworker friend of my mom started like a modeling school at Martin DePore's. This was back in the early 2000s, late 90s. And we would just put on fashion shows, and they would say, you know, take this white sheet and make it into something. Okay. You know me, I'm going to twist it up. I'm going to do what I got to do.
Man, token.
Togas, all types of stuff. I said, I don't know what this is, but I'm going to wear it, and I'm going to make you want to buy one. So, you know, I continued doing modeling and shows, and then when I got to University of Akron, all the fraternities were doing fashion shows. And I asked a couple of them, like, hey, why don't you let me work with your models? And they like, you model? So I get on the stage, and they're like, oh, you model? I'm like, yeah. So I would start training other models and, you know, doing shows around campus. But it really got some traction when I graduated and I came back home. And I found all these new people, all these new production companies that were allowing plus size models, because growing up, I was always the plus size model. So, you know, a lot of times my mother had to go buy my stuff.
Versus just being a model. You said plus size. You said it's always been
Yeah.
that, always
It's always been, okay, we have our plus size model. And I'll just be like, why can't I just be a model? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, you know, for a while, I hated that term, you know. And back in the 90s, it was called husky. Oh my gosh, I hated it. And I was like, I don't want to be the husky girl. Like, I just want to be pretty. I just want to be seen and people clap for me when they see me, as opposed to me being the fat girl, the chubby girl. So the older I got and the more I started seeing people in mainstream plus size actresses, and I'm just like, well, maybe this is my way of kind of, you know, getting my foot in the door, is being the only one.
Yeah.
So I just started going to auditions to all these places in Cleveland that I know did not accept plus size models, because most of them say you have to be, you know, 5'11", 110 pounds. This is the frame we want. This is the inches you need to be.
Oh wow.
I would show up and I would audition. And I would get an email, you are so amazing, your personality, your walk was great, but we regret to inform you we do not have anybody who can accommodate you.
Oh,
That happened for years. And, you know, I gave up a couple of times. I was like, well, let me go find something else. You know, let me do something else. And then it wasn't until, and I have to shout him out every time I talk about my career outside of my job, because if it wasn't for this person, I wouldn't be where I'm at. And that is W. Von Glover, the owner of Walkie Wear Productions. I literally saw like a poster, and this was like before Instagram, before Twitter, TikTok. Facebook had just really started like coming
Black
around.
Planet days. Remember Black Planet?
Black Planet. Ooh, MySpace. My Louis Vuitton background. So one of my friends
Brian,
said,
like, what's that?
to a blank.
Oh
Yeah,
man.
I don't listen to stuff I don't know about.
Bless your heart. We're gonna give you a whole little early 2000s listen.
Oh my God.
You had to be there,
You
man.
had to be there. It was a time.
It was time.
So much better. So much better, baby. Less pressure. But I get on Facebook and my friend was like, hey, I just did this fashion show and it was all about, they had a whole category just for plus size women and it's a competition. You should do it. And I'm like, I done did the pageant thing. I done did the competitive thing. Like, I just want a model. I don't want to be forced against people and competing because I know how competitive I can be, especially when you are, I have always considered myself one of one. There might be other plus size models,
Talk that.
but
Come on, hold on. I gotta hear that. You heard that? He said, I want one.
We may need some more batteries.
I think I might.
Variety.
but I honestly feel like when you think about plus size models in Cleveland, there's a couple people you think of. And if you're not mentioning me, that just means that you have been, I'm not even gonna say a hater, you just don't know.
Okay.
Because I was one of the first brand ambassadors for a boutique, in a plus size boutique in Cleveland. And people were just like, I never heard of that. I know, because you're like 25. So, you know, I was doing that back in the early 2000s. And, you know, and I say, everything that I say is humbly speaking, but I put in a lot of work. I put in enough work to say that I know, you know, I know what I know. And if you don't know, you need to find out.
Come on.
Can I real quick. So this is my second time meeting you.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie, like when I first met you, like confidence really did brew off of you, like, you know. And a lot of people may have like fake confidence, and I'm coming out of that. I'm gonna be honest, like it's just identifying with certain things or whatever the case may be. And like even with, you know, your modeling career, that requires a certain level of confidence. You know what I'm saying? So emotionally, how was that journey? Like, because we were talking about the other day with our other guests, like getting to a certain place in life, like of success. Your success, to some degree, is your confidence. I feel, you know. But in that journey, it's ugly. So getting there, you know what I'm saying? It's hard. You know what I'm saying? So how was that emotional journey for you? You know, getting there. Like, what are some of the things mentally, emotionally, spiritually that you had to endure and overcome to get to that, like?
Yeah.
I'm her. I'm one of one.
Yeah. So.
Where did that? How was that journey?
So you know what, and it's funny that you bring that up because Brandon texted me the other day and asked me a question, and I had to be honest with him and tell him like I'm not okay. And you know, and I'm very honest and transparent. I always have been honest and transparent that yes, I am curvy. I'm confident a lot of the times. I'm not confident all the time, and that's where that nervous parts kick in. So you know, always being told you're too big. Always saying you got a pretty face. Don't cut your hair. You got long, pretty hair. You should straighten your hair. Don't wear it curly. Straighten it. And I'm just like that's what I've been told my whole life, starting from home, school. Oh, you'll be so much prettier if you just straighten your hair out. And I'm just like, okay, well, let me straighten my hair out. So, and just imagine doing all these things that people, that's what they see as being beautiful. Not me being an individual, but this is how we want to see you. Because this is what's going to make us money. Because what models fail to realize is you are just a rack. You are a garment rack. You wear the clothes, you model the clothes well enough so that the people there want to buy what you have on. They're not buying you. They're not interested in you. They're interested in how you wear a garment. And that's where I got a lot of my confidence from, because I knew that no matter what I was dealing with internally, I knew how to sell a garment. I'm going to show you how to do these twirls and these turns and these spins. And I'm going to make you clap. I'm going to make you want to buy these clothes. But then when I'm done and I'm off the stage and reality sets in, that I'm still just the big girl. Like that's when the nervous part and all the other stuff that comes with trying to, you know, be in an industry that doesn't love us. Like, let's just be real. You know, everybody now wants to be inclusive, size inclusive, but that's only going up to a 2X. We want to be size inclusive, but we're going to make your clothes look like a trash bag. Like, that's just, you know, where we are for real, for the most part. Yeah.
I can take consideration.
Yeah. And it's just like, wow, I just want to be stylish. You know, luckily we're people are coming around, like, look, just because I'm this size does not mean I don't know how to dress. You know, just because I'm this size does not mean I always want to wear this big bulky thing. I like my shape. I like my figure. I like my hips. I want you to see them.
Yeah.
So, you know, that took a long time. And one thing, I don't know if I've shared it before, but my first bully was my mom. Telling, like, my nickname at home is Thunder Thighs. I can hear you coming down the hallway. And I'm just like, as a kid, you hearing that, but you hear it so much, it doesn't really resonate. That doesn't make me feel good. I don't like that. That doesn't make me feel beautiful or loved or, you know, and like my mom and my sister would get into debates because my sister would say, look, don't call her that. She's already self-conscious. I didn't know I was self-conscious. This is as young as me being 7 years old. So, you know, the more that things like that got into my psyche, the more I started binge eating. The more weight I started gaining. The faster the weight came on. And then it's like once I had it, I couldn't get it off. But because now I've created this, I almost want to say a caricature of who I thought I wanted to be. I'm going to be this big girl. I'm going to be this confident girl. You're going to like this. But on the inside, like, I was just like, I have to find a way to get this off me because I'm never going to be good enough if I'm this big. And, you know, that's been an ongoing struggle. And I have to be honest about that because I don't ever want anybody to think because you see me on social media, because you see me on shows and I'm flaunting that I think I'm just it all the time because that's not real. It's not real. And if anybody says that they're always great, they're always on, they're lying.
Yeah, that's a
You cannot always be on.
That's a fact.
It's a fact.
That's a fact.
Because I'm like, that's exhausting.
Right.
That's so exhausting trying to keep up with the status quo. And I had a friend who asked me, like, why don't you do the get ready with me reels? Why don't you do the get dressed reels where you look cute and you go in the fitting room? And I said, the fitting room has been my worst enemy since I can remember. I don't want to record me going in there trying on clothes. That doesn't make me feel good. Because what if I put the clothes on and I hate it? I hate the way I look.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like opening up an old wound sometimes because social media wants to see what you're wearing, how's your hair, how's your makeup, what brand of bags do you have, what name brand makeup are you wearing? And I'm like, that's not me. It's just not. And I kept trying to fit into this mode. Like, okay, well, let me do a couple of the videos like that. And I did a couple of videos like the other bloggers and models I see, and I'm just like, I won't even post them. I'm like, that's so fake. I can't do it. I would take the video. To this day, I literally went through my reels yesterday. I just started deleting stuff. I said, this is not me. And I'm not going to keep portraying stuff that's not true to who I am.
That's good stuff right there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, okay, because, like, and Ryan already knows, like, I'm coming, so I started therapy myself, right? And you ain't never lied. Trauma is something else, man. And you know, trauma, you don't even know it's trauma until someone has to bring it to your attention, you know?
For sure.
And like you said, I can if I think about certain things, the stigmas that are stuck with me that I didn't know were stigmas, unfortunately rooted from those closest around you, you know? My question to you in that statement, how did you start to begin to help? I mean, because obviously it's a process, but what steps you take to help turn that, not saying trauma, but turn that around so it worked in your favor?
How you turn your pain into your purpose.
There you go.
Oh, man.
So I really started going to therapy when I was 7 because there was so much trauma in my home. So, you know, as a black kid and who's always alert and paying attention, all of a sudden is not paying attention in school, acting out. Now we want to get, the psychiatrist involved and see what's going on. So I started that. I was 7 years old because we had just lost my sister. So, all the signs were there that something was going on with me at school. So, I did that at school. But of course, I'm 7 years old. I'm not really about to sit up here and talk about my feelings, right? So I stopped going for years. I don't think I started going again until college because I was stressed, I was overloaded, I was overstimulated. It was so much going on. And I stopped again. And then when I started working in East Cleveland, they had a program where we could go to 3 therapy sessions for free. I went to the 3 sessions and she said, I really need you to figure out a way to come in consistently. Like, this is not enough. We're not done. We just started. Yeah. And I was so terrified to keep going. I stopped going. And I didn't go again until 2016. when my father passed. And I'll never forget it. I went to this therapist, and he's just like, okay, do this survey. All right, flip it over, do this one. Oh, well, looks to me like you have this, and that. So I'm going to send you over to the psych, and, you know, we're going to give you this pill, this pill, this pill, this pill. You should be fine. And I'm like, okay. And so this was in 2016. This is when I first got medicated for all the things that I have. I have a list of mental health illnesses. I have PTSD, I have chronic depression, and I have panic anxiety disorder. So you're giving me all these medicines, and what happened is I turned into a zombie. I couldn't create, I wasn't out here modeling, I was just numb. And it got to a point where I was like, this is when I kind of got into my spiritual journey. Because I had somebody say, hey, you haven't been yourself, what's going on? And I had somebody tell me, like, no, you don't need to stifle all those feelings. You need to start letting those feelings out. And if you don't feel comfortable or haven't found somebody to talk to, why don't you start blogging? And I'm like, who wants to hear about all this trauma? Like, who wants to hear about it? And she's like, it doesn't matter. Just get it out and see what happens. So little by little, the first blog I ever wrote about was like my father's death, how that made me feel. Yeah. And then I just kept going and going and going and going. And that is how the blog became Curvy, Confident, and Nervous as Hell. That was the initial name of the blog. And I took the hell out because I didn't want to offend my mom. Because she was like, you can say hell. I'm like, I don't want to. Like, so, but.
Like my mom.
Yeah, I was like, hell is a bad word. But once I got into that and kind of letting those things out, but then I didn't know what to do with them. Like, I've gotten them out of my system, out of my brain. But the after effect is still there. You know what I'm saying? The side effects, the nightmares, all those things are still there. Now I've just made it public. So I actually literally got on Google one day because I was just tired. I never forget, I was driving and I started having this panic attack out of nowhere. I'm driving on the freeway and I just start crying and like, I don't know if y'all ever had hot tears, but my tears were hot. Like I was going, trying to hurry up and get home. So I get home and I'm like, I gotta do something. Like this, I don't know what this is, but it's not working. Yeah. So I literally got on Google and I looked up Black female therapists in Cleveland. And I was very specific and very intentional about how I chose my therapist. Because I've had 4 or 5 therapists. I've had white men, I've had older Black women, I've had young white women, but none of those were a good fit for me.
Yeah, that's good.
So I literally narrowed down the criteria to what my needs were, what age demographic, what race that I needed my therapist to be.
That's good.
And I found her. And I'm still going to therapy with her now, and that's been since 2017. Same therapist, still on this journey. Depending on what time of year, I can go twice a month or once a month. So it really just depends on what time of year because of the seasonal affective disorder.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, in the wintertime, if you don't hear me, I'm in therapy every Friday. Even now, I have therapy at least 2 Fridays out of the month. So a lot of people, I don't want to go to therapy because, and honestly, a lot of people don't want to go to therapy because they don't want to go backwards. They don't want to revisit those things. Nobody wants to go, digging up skeletons because it hurts and it's hard. It's hard. And, I made the decision, like, if I'm ever going to get to the root of these issues, I'm never going to get to where I'm trying to go. And I'm still figuring stuff out. I'm still trying to navigate, okay, I'm doing really good for a couple months and then I just fall backwards. Yeah. I go into this isolation, nobody talks to me, I don't come out of my room, I don't go to work, I'll take FMLA, I just can't function. And so I have got to work on better ways to take care of myself. I know how because I'm in therapy, I have all the tools, but now I have to put those tools to use. Yeah. As opposed to just preaching and talking about it, but actually doing it while I'm living it.
Yeah.
But when you're in the midst of a storm, it's so hard to say, oh, I'm going to go and, you know, I'm going to go get my coloring book. I'm going to go blow some bubbles. I'm going to go outside and sit in the grass. You're not thinking like that because you're not in a rational state of mind. But little things like that, like when my therapist first told me to get a coloring book, I'm like, I'm not 6. And she was like, your inner child wants your attention.
Ooh.
Give her some attention. What did you like doing? I like coloring books. You know, I like being outside playing. So, you know, those are the things that I have to use when I always call it I'm in the cloud. So when somebody say, hey, how you doing? I'm like, I'm in the cloud. They know what that means. So it's like I have to do a better job, and all of us have to do a better job of using our tools to dig ourselves out.
That's good.
Yeah.
No, because I know y'all is a great book. It's called Emotionally, Spiritually Healthy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And one thing, like you said, that you said I thought was profound was the fact that in order to go forward, you have to go back.
Yeah.
And I know for me, just like you, I had a criteria because I took therapy. Like you said, I've been in therapy 3 different times, and like you said, I started and I quit. And it wasn't until I found a therapist that I can relate to, that I knew that can not saying relate, but I can talk to and it not come off as a certain type of way or whatnot. And then I can feel, and like you said, and to me that helped me open up. 'Cause I'm not a real open up type of person. Like,
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But find, like I said, have a criteria, find someone who fit the criteria, and then sit down with them, help me out tremendously.
Yeah, absolutely. And the one thing that I always say when people ask me, how did I know this was the right therapist? I said, because when I talk to her, I feel like I'm looking in the mirror.
Wow.
I see her, I see me. And I literally talk with so much ease and honesty.
Right.
Like I've had therapists, have you ever considered harming yourself? No. I'm talking to her, she's like, have you had any thoughts this week? And I'm just like, yeah, I did. You know what I'm saying? So it's just about creating a safe space. And a lot of us say safe spaces, but a lot of people use social media as a safe space. Let's be real about that. That's one of the most dangerous places to try to use that, you know, as a tool.
Yeah, look.
I felt my finger.
No, listen.
My finger.
You know, I'm listening. I'm over here. Dang. I'm over here slumped like, dang.
I was ready.
You know?
So yeah, I say that because, and it was you, and I'm being real, because we family here. Brandon texts me, hey, what's going on? You good? And I'm like, I will be. He like, no, are you good?
Yeah.
And I'm like, not really. But I'm like, I thought about something somebody else texted me, like, hey, I've been reading your Twitter and your Instagram posts, like, you all right? And I'm like, why do I feel the need to make these cryptic posts and, you know, repost these, you know, I'm depressed things? And it's like, it might get me 5 seconds of attention, but it's not giving me help. You know what I'm saying? It's like somebody might reach out and say, you all right? You can call me. Am I going to call you and talk about my problems? Absolutely not. You know? So, yeah, if you go on to social media, get you a therapist. Get you a journal. Start getting that stuff out of your head. Because I know a lot of people, especially like people that are heavily on social media, our psyches absorb so much stuff from on there. Whether you're thinking about it or not. I told somebody one day, I was on social media and I went to my explore page and I just started scrolling, not even paying attention.
Yeah.
This person got shot. Cleveland Remembers page. Dead body found here. And I'm not reading it, but that is all seeping into my psyche. And then I have a panic attack for stuff that's not even, you know what I'm saying? Isn't even directly.
But you're feeding yourself that.
I'm feeding myself that.
Yeah.
So when I went into my cloud, like the past month, I've been in my cloud for the past month. And when I started kind of taking steps away from social media, I started slowly like coming back out. I call it going into the cloud and coming back out to the light. Slowly, I was like, okay, if I only spend this much screen time, I can do my posts and stuff and then get off. I don't have to stay on there and scroll through everybody's page and engage if I don't feel like it. And a lot of times we don't feel like it. But because we want to keep that thing going, we want to keep those statistics up and keep the insights up, we stay on there longer than we should. Because I'm like, if I took half of the time to dedicate toward the things that I want to do, my next projects, as opposed to me just being in this Instagram.
Yeah.
If I could just take half of that time and use half of that time to dedicate towards something else, I would be fine. I think I would be a lot better than I am, because you know. And then it's like the model thing. I go in there and I see all these plus size models with these little stomachs and big old butts, and I'm like, ooh, like, okay, maybe if I get this shape, then I'll get more bookings, because this is the type of big girl they want. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's a lot of pressure, and I think that's why I work so hard to be memorable, because it's like, no, I don't have that Coca-Cola shape, but I bet you I can walk.
Yeah.
I bet you the aunties gonna be up, and all of those things, because it's my personality. It's what I have in here.
Yeah.
It's not about how I look on the outside. I could look like a whole bum, and I could still sell it, just because that's what my spirit is.
Come on, excuse me. A couple times. One, I want to thank you for being genuinely, authentically yourself on this podcast. I appreciate that. I know someone's gonna be blessed just by hearing your story. That's first of all, right?
I hope so.
You know what I'm saying? Because like, I know for me, I've always stayed guarded. You can call me the guard. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what I do.
Yeah.
But you just, you know what I'm saying? You were genuinely being so. I appreciate that, because that's not an easy thing to do. I know for a lot of us or whatnot. So thank you for that. And then two, I just want to applaud you, because once again, I know personally the work that goes into trying to not saying treat yourself, trying to, like you said, go on those crevices of yourself that you normally don't want to, because it hurts.
Yeah.
So I want to applaud you for that, and I love it that, like Brian said so perfectly, you turn that pain into purpose. Because I can tell you right now, someone's watching this right now and saying to themselves, some girl or some young man is like, I needed to hear that.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? Sure. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
You know.
And I definitely applaud you as well, because I too also had to go through therapy and all of that as well. Now, as going through that journey, have you found yourself being an inspiration to like your family and friends? I know that they watched you and you were admired in regards to your college journey. How about when it comes to the mental health? Has that also been inspirational?
I would like to think so, but I also feel like at some point everybody has kind of already molded their lives and what it's gonna be. So it's kind of like, well, I'm here. This is how my life is. We are so, it is what it is. But it's like, well, what could be? What could it be?
Speak there.
So, the people that look at me the most, I would say, if we're going to say inspiration, is students of mine and my nieces and nephews. So it's funny you asked that. My niece just called me Saturday, and she was like, I'm just calling to check on you. I seen you cut your hair off, so you must be going through something. And I said, yeah, I am, but I'm all good. And I said, so what's going on with you? I know we had talked about you feeling overwhelmed. And she said, well, I actually started therapy. I've been going consistently. And I'm just like, thank God, I got 1 out of 13.
Don't worry, we're gonna rest. Don't worry, it's no time coming.
I've had my nephews reach out to me and say, Auntie, I know you do the therapy thing. It ain't really my thing. I said, it's nobody's thing to just go and bare their heart and soul to a stranger.
Yeah.
But is your thing, like, are you gonna let that hold you back from like making some progress? Because the more that we kind of keep these things to ourselves, leave it where it is, we're stopping ourselves from progressing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I said, and I'm always the therapist in my family, because I have these tools now.
Yeah.
And everybody in my family, and I love y'all.
We love y'all too.
But stop. When I say stop, I get a phone call at 8 o'clock in the morning. Hey, good morning. How you doing? Me? I'm not a morning person, but good morning. Let me tell you what your niece did. And I'm like, okay, it's early. You just dumped all of this on me.
Hey.
I haven't even gotten my day started.
I'm sorry, because I remember someone posted on Twitter a long time ago and made it change my whole perspective. Literally, if you ask the person that you're about to talk to, you say, hey, listen, before I talk to you, I have something to share with you, but you had a mental and emotional capacity to take what I'm about to say to you.
Yeah.
And that will change your whole friendship relationship as a whole.
Absolutely.
Versus just dumping on them, because you don't know where they're at.
You don't. And the fact that we say, hey, how you doing? But we don't wait for a response.
Ooh.
Hey, how you doing? So, you at work? Yeah, I'm at work. Okay, well, let me tell you what happened last night. We got into this argument, and I'm like, I just told you I'm at work.
Yeah.
I have a classroom full of kids. I answered because it was an emergency.
Wow.
And my kid's like, I know you ran out of phone. Obviously, it's an emergency. My sisters need me. So I'm the youngest of 4. And my older sisters, I love y'all so much. I love y'all. Y'all know I do. I want everybody in therapy.
True the Lord to the money, you know.
I want everybody in therapy. I want all of my family in therapy because we are all healing from something that we don't talk about.
Facts.
That's why we have these relationships that are stagnant and all these different things that we just have not been able to be successful in. And I'm just like, look, it was a couple weeks ago, my sister called me and I said, before you even start, I'm not in the mood. I'm in my cloud right now. Click. Well, we don't have click no more. I wish I would have my phone. I would be like, but you have to teach people how to communicate with you.
Oh, that's so powerful.
I had to start saying, did you even ask me how I was doing and wait for a response?
Ooh.
And I said, and honestly, I think where we got this from is our parents. Because my mother didn't say, hey, how you doing, and wait for a response.
She's going straight to it.
She didn't come and knock on my door and then wait for me to respond. She knocked on the door and opened it and walked in. Same thing with communication. No, let me open the door for you. Because, I take that and then I have to go deal with a kid who's, on probation. I got to go deal with a student who thinks she's pregnant. And, whatever my family's going through, whatever I'm going through, all of that in the course of 6 to 8 hours.
Yeah.
And then I have to come home and get on social media and be told I'm disgusted, I'm fat. That's why you single. You shouldn't be eating on social media. Like, I get hate stuff all the time.
Wow.
All the time. Like, I've had men threaten me, and you are so disgusting.
Are you
and
serious?
if I ever saw you in public, I won't even say what he said. I've had some cruel things said to me over the years. I'm just like, okay.
Better than me.
You feel better now? Like, I've asked a couple people, like, did you feel better now? Like, did that do something for you? But now I'm just at the point where I just delete it and just move on. Because I'm like, I don't have time for this. I'm like, because for every person that has something mean or disrespectful to say, there's 10 other people behind it with a compliment.
That's
or,
facts.
Some positive reinforcement or something.
I got something. So I believe in pursuing our purpose, everybody comes to a place in their life where they're going to choose one, either regret or going forward with what they actually want to do. Like, talking about Curvy, confident and nervous, like where were you at when you was like, okay, I'm about to do this thing, and like what inspired all that?
I think it was so many times. Like, I have restarted so many times. I've hit pause on myself so many times and come back to it. I'm gonna come back to it after this happens in life. I'm gonna do this after I finish this project. I'm gonna do, and I'm always putting myself off. I think what really kind of was like, okay, like, this is your time now. And as selfish as this may sound, some people gonna get it, some people's gonna go over their heads. It wasn't until I lost my mom that I felt like I could go pursue the things I wanted to pursue.
Wow.
Because, I was her caregiver. I took care of her. I left school initially because I had to come home and take care of my mom. So for all those years, I'm just like, I have to take care of my mom. I can still do my fashion shows, but I still need to stay in Cleveland. I still need to stay in this house, in this city, which I don't want to be in, which was my hood. I love y'all though. But I was ready to kind of spread my wings. I wanted a new environment, but I knew I couldn't leave her. But before she took her final breath, she left me a message, and she said, I'm proud of you. I want you to go do it. And it was almost like her telling me I was free.
Wow.
And I asked her before she passed, when she was still in her right mind, I said, when you go, can I leave? And she said, hurry up. I said, all right, go. So, my mom passed in July. By October, I had packed up my stuff. I left my family home, which is the only home I've ever known. But it was time for me to go.
Yeah.
Last year?
This was in 2020.
Oh,
So, you know, I moved to Shaker, you know, got my first real adult apartment. And it was the first time in my life I was on my own.
Yeah.
I didn't have mommy or daddy or auntie, uncle, because when I lost my mom, I essentially lost my family. Because it's always just been our family.
Yeah.
The extended family, you know, you see them, wedding, funeral, reunion.
Right.
That's it. So when I lost my mom, it was just like, okay, now that you don't have any responsibilities to anybody else, what you gonna do? So that's when I started, okay, let me keep doing the modeling thing. I did that for a while, and then I said, I'm tired of just being a face. Why don't you let me host? And that's when Von Glover said, you want to host a fashion show?
Yeah.
I said, give me a shot. You never asked.
Yeah.
And he was like, I didn't know you knew how to talk. I knew you knew how to walk. That was kind of everybody's thing. Like, oh, you walk good. And I'm like, you guys know I went to school for communications and did a whole lot of public speaking and have been on radio. And they just like, no, we didn't know that. And I'm like, let me show you.
Right.
And I've been doing that ever since. This is my 9th year now, event hosting. Yeah. Event hosting.
Yeah. Listen, you hit her up. Hit her up.
And when I say I could host my way out of a cardboard box, honey, I can host anything because even if I'm having this internal struggle with who I am, how I'm feeling, I know what I know, and I know that my talent is always going to be there.
That's good.
I know that it's not going anywhere. And I know that when I get back out in the sun, back to my sunshine, I pick up where I left off and I keep it moving. So, you know, and I post all the time, like, this is my availability. This is my availability.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
You know,
Sam will hit me up real quick. Bring my calendar, Brandon. I'm like, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Because I want people to know that I'm taking what I'm doing now very seriously, because I feel like me being in front of people and being honest and transparent, and don't get it twisted, I don't always talk about, you know, emotions and the nervous part and all that, but I can be funny, I can be educational, I can be inspirational, I can adapt. So, you know, I looked at my calendar yesterday and I'm like, okay, well, let me get my mind together because I got so much coming up. And I looked and I said, Dad, I'm completely booked for the next couple months. But I needed the last couple weeks to go inside myself, to have these conversations with myself about, okay, so when you come out of this, what are you going to do? Are you going to stay in here or are you going to go back out? Because, you know, these people that pay their deposits, you're going to sign the contracts. You got to come back out. But I couldn't come back out with the same mentality I had when I went in. Because I went into this whole, like, I'm not good enough. Nobody wants to book me. Everybody's talking about my fees are too much. And I said, but think about all the times that you had $5 in your tank to get to work. For real. Running out of gas because you was broke. And I told somebody the other day, I said, I'm so real with it. I told my sister, I said, you know how broke I am? She said, girl, you got money. You hosting all these events and red carpets. I said, a lot of the stuff I do, depending on who the people and organization are, some people I don't even charge. If it's breast cancer related, I don't really charge because my mom was a breast cancer patient.
Yeah.
You know, if it's nonprofit for some kids, I don't want to be charging y'all. But those same people have a budget of however many thousands of dollars. They're going to spend the money on a whole bunch of extra stuff.
Facts.
Why not have a good host
who
can talk to people, who can communicate? Not somebody who just there because of their namesake.
Right.
And a lot of stuff is popularity. Who got the most followers? That's why I want to host my event. Then you get them on the mic and they can't even read.
Shots fired.
I mean, I've been places where I'm like, you had to read a cue card to give your intro yourself. I've seen some things, and I'm just like, and then at the end of the show, I'm like, here's my card. Whenever you're ready, and I tell people all the time, whenever you're ready to book, let me know.
Let me know. Yeah.
And you know, I'm humble enough to say there's so many events that I wanted to be a part of, but because, you know, I don't have all these followers and all this pomp and circumstances, to me, which is just a whole bunch of it's facades.
Yeah, it's facades.
And I'm just like,
you buy a blue check now.
Okay, I'm going to be verified tomorrow.
I saw you.
Shoot.
just like, we have got to stop picking people because they're popular. This is not high school.
No, that's facts.
And I'm just like, I get so tired of, I'm like, this person, okay, all right, I just mind my business.
Yep.
And people, when they go to events and I don't host them, but I'm there, they always look at me like, and I'll be like, in the winter, I'll be sitting in front row with my sunglasses on, like, not my
She better
business.
might be like, yeah, this is.
I have before. I did do a show where I hosted the whole show from my seat because the MC couldn't talk.
That's crazy.
And I was like, coming down the runway. And they was like, you don't even work here. I don't care. Somebody got help.
Somebody
out.
got to.
So, I mean, and I literally think about like Kevin Hart turning his pain into comedy and laughter. Like, you have to be able to laugh at yourself.
That's good.
You have to be able to have fun and, you know, give people some insight without it always being so heavy.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, that heaviness is just, it's consuming. So, you know, you got to make light of it. You got to have fun. You just got to do what you love. And like I said, you know, my calendar is full.
I know, Sam. You be like Brandon.
I be like, Brandon, I sent you my calendar. And you be like, all right. I know what you said, but are you available? I be like, Brandon.
But I appreciate you, Sam, though. You know what I'm saying? I it's always a good time when you're around. So I want to endorse you as one of the best hosts I know around. So thank you for once again coming to guest host for this when you have the availability. You know what I'm saying? So,
Y'all be sleeping on the kid.
nah, listen, y'all better invest.
I'm telling
Y'all better
y'all.
invest.
Because I got some big stuff coming up and I don't want to hear anybody say, oh, now I want to book you. You didn't want to book me 6 months ago. But then you saw me on a flyer because I'm going to be in.
Right.
Because Sam getting flued out this year. That's all I'm going to say. I'm getting flued out. So.
In the great words of the great Mike Jones, you know what I'm saying? Back then they want me. Now I'm hot, they all on me. You know, that's right, Britt. That's right, back in our day.
And that's because I work hard. It's no other reason.
Ooh,
I worked hard.
speak that.
Yeah. I get the criticism after every show. My producer, you know what time it is. Come on over here and watch the show. And I'm like, I don't want to. I can't stand watching myself talk. Ugh. But, you know, that's how I learn.
Yeah.
You know, I make notes. We are our harshest critics.
That's the fact.
So once I watch myself, when I say I'm like this, ooh, girl. Ooh. Why would you say that? Like, I have to take these notes.
My posture, man.
Get your life.
Ryan, you know what I'm saying?
I was crying. I just did that.
No.
Y'all is crazy.
I did it because I'm feeling that I tied my thing up. And I'm feeling that I'm choking. Get up. That's how I felt. That's why I did.
Y'all are crazy.
So, all right. So, by the way, hey, going forward, if I say y'all clouding on time, it is. You know what I'm saying? That's a new thing we gonna start doing. I'm in my cloud. You know?
I'm in my cloud.
I'm gonna put it out there.
Let you know when the sun's out.
That's me and Sam thing. Okay.
Yep.
Secondly, so we talk about the past, talk about the present, talk about the future. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, you got big projects going on. Well, what's next up for Miss Walker?
Miss Walker is about to step into this new version of herself, which is authentically herself, no matter what part of my life I'm in.
I was trying to get it, but you know.
But when I say that, I have to think about me personally and how I choose to take care of myself in a better way.
Ooh.
And, you know, and y'all complimented on my haircut. Thank you. That was an episode I had. But, you know, it's something I've been wanting to do for a while. But because, oh, you look better with long hair, you should wear your hair this way. And I'm just like, but I don't want to. I want to shed some of this so I can feel like the me I'm trying to be. You know, and I feel like if I just stick to what everybody has always said I should be, I'm never going to be who I want to be.
Thank you.
No, but like the me going forward is definitely taking better care of herself, nurturing the relationships that are helping me grow.
That's good.
Cutting off the ones that don't. And when I tell y'all I cut my hair, normally when I cut my hair I cry and I try to pick the hair back up and I have like this whole moment because I've only cut my hair like major twice in my whole life.
Yeah.
And so when I did it the other day and my sister was like, you good? And I was like, yeah. Yeah. And it was symbolic of so many things that I know I needed to cut out of my life. So many things, habits, cycles I had to break, things I had to stop doing. Because I'm like, oh, it makes me feel good temporarily, but in the long run, is it helping me get to where I'm trying to go?
Ooh.
And they weren't. And I'm very clairvoyant, in tune with my, my spirituality. And I had my cousin call me yesterday. I'm in the store. She called me to ask me one question. Would you host this event for me, cuz? And what's your rate? I said, ma'am, the price is the price. I sent you the list.
Mm-hmm.
But she said, I didn't even call for this, but how have you felt since you cut your hair? And I said, I feel good. Why? You know why you feel good? Because you cut off them dead leaves. And when you did this, you cut off this, and that.
Should I prophetic word work for you?
Look, I was at Walgreens like, yes, ma'am. No, I won't do that no more.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I needed to hear that because I know it came from a place of love. And like going forward, I just want to be abundant in happiness. I just want to have peace. I don't want to always be curvy, confident, and nervous. One day I just want to be curvy and confident. And that comes from me just making better decisions for myself and not worried about how anybody is going to perceive me. Because only person I want to make happy is me and the Creator. From here on out. Like I feel like I have people please. And somebody, my cousin said this to me yesterday. When I say it hit me so hard, she said, you have been so scared to be abandoned your whole life. You don't know how to abandon stuff that's hurting you.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, excuse me? What?
Yeah.
It
worked. Oh, it worked me.
So when she said that, I'm like, and now this is a cousin-in-law. So she didn't grow up with me. She didn't know my whole childhood. And she said, you have been trying to chase these people and please these people who have abandoned you. And you doing it right now. She said, why do you think your hair stopped growing?
Wow.
And I'm like, wait, what? She's like, you stopped growing. You stopped growing. Because you keep allowing these same things to happen and hoping for a different result. And when I cut my hair, I cut off those pieces of me that weren't serving me, that weren't making me happy. And genuinely, if it didn't make me feel good, if I couldn't brag about it or talk to people about it, it wasn't in the cards. It wasn't supposed to happen. It wasn't supposed to be there. So literally just in the past week, I've had so much stuff go wrong. That's a whole other podcast. But, all the things that have happened to me this week, I'm like, I'm going to be okay. Because I'm going to take care of myself. That's physically, mentally, spiritually, all of that. And I feel like once I start paying attention to all the areas of my life that need my attention, everything else is just going to happen. Because every time I turn around, and I know most of them are spam, but I always get, hey, Queen, I got something to tell you about your love life. And I just be like, girl, you don't know me, but what you got to say? But a lot of those things happen once we start recognizing the value in ourselves.
That's good.
Because, I just cut my hair Friday. And when I tell you I started walking different, you know what I'm saying? And I've heard, a woman who cuts her hair is about to change her life. And I feel like I am. Starting with this Saturday, I will be at Crusade of the Curves. I'm the first runner up for the cover model of the year.
Oh, that's what's up.
So I will be in DC.
I love that transition. That was
So I will be in DC this weekend. And then I will be in New York. So y'all better book me before my fees go up, y'all.
Listen, the price, hey.
The price is good. Yesterday's price.
Ain't today's price.
Today's price.
Okay, all right, y'all heard it. Y'all better, hey. By the way, all sand information will be in the show notes, so get the booking. You know what I'm saying? So okay, and you been here when we asked the staple questions of the show. So now you in the hot seat, right?
Yep.
So boom. So as you know, I like to ask this question. What are 3 things that a young man or young lady is watching this? What are 3 things you want to take away from your episode tonight?
I want you to know that you are made just the way you're supposed to be. That's first and foremost.
Hello. Hello.
Thank you for jamming in.
Hello.
And there is no right or wrong time to live out your dreams. Like if you fall off sometime, it happens to the best of us. You just have to pick up and keep going. And one thing that I struggle with, I think us just in general as a culture, don't be afraid to reach out and ask people for help. I hate it, but it has given me kind of a safety net to know that there are people I can say, hey, I really need your help. I could really use help with this.
All right, blowing your phones up. Thank y'all.
There you go. But yeah, that's it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That was some good ones.
Yeah.
You know? Okay, boom. All right, so now we're going to talk about legacy. What is the legacy for Miss Walker? What's the legacy for Curvy, Confident, Nervous?
For Miss Walker, I definitely want to leave a legacy of creating everlasting relationships. Because the relationships that you create, and you don't realize, especially when you work with young people, they remember something you said to them in 4th grade. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you want to nourish and grow those relationships.
Yeah.
For Curvy, Confident, and Nervous, I'm ready. Red carpet. I'm ready to be on Jay Hudson's show. I'm ready to host my own show. I'm ready to get a contract. I'm not forgetting about, I ain't forgetting about the fam. But I am ready for this next stage. I'm ready to sign this contract.
Yeah.
I'm ready to be somebody, something, first place. Like my time is coming. And I think that by me making these changes and kind of having this grand reemergence of myself is what I feel like. I think those things are going to happen.
Wow.
Speak things as though they were and they shall come to pass.
Absolutely. So I'm speaking it all.
There we go.
Book today because the price is going up.
That's right. Shoot.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got that, and I've been debating about this one. I feel like this podcast embodies this question, but I like to ask the question anyway. You know, Cleveland has a stigma of people not coming together, but we are an example of obviously coming together.
For sure.
But in your opinion, what do you think we need to do in the modern age world to come together? Yeah,
It's the whole novel.
Oh.
I hope the Cleveland modeling family is listening. I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say it once, and I'm going to say it loud. There's too many of us competing. If we got together and had, and I've mentioned this, if we got a board of people to work together and put some of these events together, you know how great we could be? Instead of having 10, 20 different fashion shows and everybody trying to book the same designers, the same models, why can't we just have one huge fashion community where we literally have teams of people working and doing stuff collaboratively? Let the ego go.
Yeah.
You know, let that ego go. If y'all really about the community like y'all say y'all are, like y'all portray y'all are, come together with some people. Say, hey, you know what? I heard you're good at this. Can you help me with this? Can we figure out how we can do this together? Because you got all these different fashion shows and all these different people. And, you know, I caught a lot of flack for saying the industry has gotten saturated. It's watered down because we're too busy trying to compete as opposed to having quality production. Win only. We don't have to compete. Stephen Midget, my brother. Win only. We don't have to compete. Y'all gonna learn. So book today because the price is going up.
that might be a title episode right there. Yeah, man, that's gonna be a title episode. Boom. Okay, boom. Hey, listen, that's good stuff right there. And like I said, I switched the question up, so you did good on that. You know what I'm saying?
I know you had to throw me off a little.
You know how it is. Okay, and listen, I know we're gonna do part 2 because when we do part 2, we're gonna have to be like Mulan or something like that.
Okay,
you know
all right.
You know, speaking at me.
All right now. Y'all can be in my loft.
Yeah, that's right. So how can people reach you? Where can people support you, reach you, and be able to get in the tribe of Curvy, Confidence, and Nervous?
So you guys can follow me on Instagram at curvy_confident and the number 1. I also have a website, www.curvycn.com. You can find me on Facebook at Curvy Confident and Nervous. You can email me, you can tweet me, you can snap me. But yeah, if nothing else, just follow me.
Yeah.
You know, I don't mind reaching out to people when I see you doing something dope. I don't mind saying, hey, I see what you're doing. Good stuff. Let me know if I can somehow, you know, help you out. What can I do to support your vision, your brand? Let's help each other.
Cause I'm about to say dating game. That's how I met you through the dating game.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm still looking for a date, but.
Hey, listen, don't worry, we'll start it up again. Don't worry, you heard it. We started up. Don't worry.
Curvy, confident, and single.
Don't worry. Listen, now you action shall receive. Now, don't play. Don't play.
I know how to block too. I know how to block real good.
That's what's up. Okay, listen. This is a great episode, y'all, and I love it when we get a chance to speak to our family. You know what I'm saying? Because Sam is part of the game. You know what I'm saying? And I love her story. And I'm like, we had to get you on the podcast. You know. Yeah. And I know before we had a host, you know what I'm saying, how to see how she do, you know what I'm saying? But you know, you did your thing. But I love your story and I appreciate you once again coming on, sharing your story with us. Because I feel like that's exclusive right there. I feel like we just got some exclusive stuff tonight. Hey. And you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I know we're going to bless someone tonight. So
I hope so. That's all I want. That's all I want is for at least one person to say, I felt that and I feel seen. Man. That's it. And I got the button is red hot right now. I know. We're going to need some new batteries.
Right, some more batteries on the joint, you know what I'm saying? So thank you. So like I said, look, y'all, so once again, y'all support my girl. Y'all make sure y'all, whatever she's on, whether it's Twitter, Facebook, I don't care, it might be MySpace all over again. Y'all make sure y'all follow her, support her. And, you know what I'm saying? Who y'all support us, y'all support her. So
Absolutely.
Listen. And then speaking of support, y'all make sure y'all check out my man's podcast. If y'all are not watching it on YouTube, what are you doing with your life? You know what I'm saying?
Watching something else.
No, forget that. You need to be watching that. You know what I'm saying? Because my brother he got the fruits of the spirit, and you want to make sure you align your life around that. You watch my man's podcast. You know what I'm saying? So y'all know we support those who are doing great things in our city, and this is another example of someone doing great in our city. I'm about to put you on blast.
No, we didn't do that.
But yes, guys, listen. We appreciate y'all watching. Every week y'all come out and it's a beautiful thing. The subscribers are growing, so that means y'all we I was doing something right.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we want to thank y'all once again for coming out, watching these great people tell their great stories, and we'll see y'all next week, y'all. This is episode 112, the 112 episode. You already? I can't remember all the same. You know? But
honestly, that's a young moment.
Oh my God!
Oh man,
we gotta take this baby to an R&B concert.
Play the song.
Oh yeah. I might have a good episode to say. But yeah, y'all. Hey, we'll see y'all next week. All right, y'all. Peace.
All right.